Fairy tales for adults. Ayn Rand's Fairytale Land.
This is beautiful Dublin, Ireland. Most people know it as a picturesque vacation spot. Few people know it as the advanced software and hardware development center that it is, at least according to tax filings. In the real world, the one most of us actually live in, that code is developed in the US. But in Fairytale Land, that development is done in Ireland because it has a lower tax rate than the US.
By now, some might find objectivism a bit confusing, especially if you were raised to follow the golden rule. So just take everything you were taught in grade school about the golden rule and flip it on its head. In grade school, we were taught that we have to be unselfish, share, and be respectful of the needs of others. Objectivism teaches us that selfishness is virtuous and that we should place our own self-interest above that of all others. So, just think of this as a magical fairy tale land, an alternate reality for adults, where normal rules of logic and morality don't apply. 1. In Rand's Fairytale Land, the owners are the creators, and they create their products like magic. They don't need workers, like in the real world, not at all. Thus, the workers are considered serfs and are treated as replaceable parts, not people. The problem is that you can't run a real company in the real world without a workforce. And a contented workforce is better at their work. Not to mention the fact that it is the workers, not the owners, that produce the real products. Thus, Rand's philosophy in action has led to severe shortages of key workers, like nurses and teachers, and made ghosting and quiet quitting a thing. Still, these realities have not slowed belief in these fairy tales by the rich and well-connected. Number 2. In Rand's world, government regulators are evil looters who are out to ruin Fairytale Land. Government regulators trying to enforce safety standards, detect corporate fraud, or violations of fair labor practices are all considered looters in objectivism. In Rand's fairytale world, all corporate managers are like the fairies, with perfect morals, who always say safety is our #1 priority, even if they are polluting every river in the country, or laying off 50,000 to boost their profits by 5%, or falsifying documents to get their planes certified, or selling addictive painkillers that turn regular people into addicts. Funny how it's always the petty weed dealer who ends up in jail. And in Ayn Rand's world, government taxes are just another form of looting, which is why companies book their profits in shell sub-corporations overseas. Because, as Hemsley put it,
"We don't pay taxes, the little people pay taxes."
And generally speaking, this is true, even though taxes pay for the bridges and highways over which products travel to market. Taxes provide loan funding for young families looking to buy a house. Taxes pay for our court systems that settle disputes. Number 3. In Rand's world, dependent people are parasites, and the CEO fairies are always on the guard against them. And of course, virtually all elderly are parasites, and those on Social Security, and those on state and federal pensions, and those on disability income, and those on unemployment, and children on government health insurance, and those receiving foreign aid. Strangely, this does not include those who live off of investment income, since they are considered to be producers. Nor does it include those who conspire with the wealthy to hide their income, or those CEOs making 300 times that of the average worker. Because, of course, the CEOs are the actual producers, not the workers themselves. And the fairies know who the real producers are. They are the stockholders, of course. Our forefathers did not fight and die so that the country could be handed over to a group of entitled elitists who see regular people as either parasites or looters. And we dishonor their sacrifices when we sit back passively and allow this to happen. God always intended us, the church, to be salt and light to the world, and to make the reality of Jesus Christ visible to the world, and not to be consumed by a corrupting consumer culture that is gradually taking away the God-given rights that our fathers fought and died for us to have, thus continuing to empower those people who have repeatedly demonstrated that they don't have our best interests or the interests of our country at heart. In Atlas Shrugged, a union advocate's concerns about worker safety are rudely dismissed. Objectivism dismisses such advocates as looters,